Hey everyone, your designers are here. I'm Anita with Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly with My Soulful Home.
We've got tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today, so let's get started.
Today we're talking about wallpaper. It's episode 75.
Love wallpaper.
I'm going to ask you, love it or leave it. But first of all, I want to shout out to Walls Need Love. It's a wallpaper company that's a little different. It has repositional wallpaper, sort of like contact paper, but of course, a wonderful quality. You can put it up, and if you make a mistake or you want to take it down, you can just take it right down, roll it up, and use it again. Again, Walls Need Love. Look into that. So today I want to ask you girls, love wallpaper or leave it?
Okay. I know we're going to have lots to say about wallpaper, loving, leaving, information, tips, all of that. But I have to share with you two something that we received yesterday, and I want to share it with everybody. Let me read you a small excerpt from an email that we received from a Patricia, and it's so fabulous. Patricia writes, "Dear Yvonne, Kelly, and Anita, your podcast is like crack." Well, maybe not quite like crack, but close.
Oh, this is
I listened
adorable.
to a couple of podcasts at first. I was a casual user, casual listener. Then I caught the one where you were teasing Anita about stripping down in her sewing room. And I thought, wait, what? And I realized I had to go back and listen to all of them from podcast 1. I wanted to get all the jokes. I'm almost there. I've been jotting notes as I listen. And on Friday, we were riding in the car. My husband listening to baseball on the car radio and me with my earbuds in and roaring at something funny one of you said. And he says, "That podcast again?" And I related the funny part, and then he started guffawing too. I love that there are 3 of you
Love
and
that
you tease each other. It's lively and fun. And I also love the show notes, which I often read before I listen to be prepared for the podcast.
Gotta be prepared.
We love Patricia.
And I did submit a review.
Oh,
Patricia goes
thank you.
and on in this wonderful tone, and she has some thoughts about Bobby, and which we might share another time. We're not ready to share those with Bobby or the world. And then,
but it was all good.
It's all
good.
It's all very good.
Very nice.
We're just
notes.
afraid
Thank
Bobby
you
will
so
be
much.
impossible to live with if he hears all the plans that Patricia has for him and our podcast. And then Patricia, thank you for all the great ideas you have for episodes. So everyone will benefit from Patricia's email. And so thank you so much,
Thank
Patricia.
you,
I hope you're
Patricia. So
listening
sweet.
and laughing. And I hope you've done your due diligence and read the show notes.
Yeah, and let your husband listen today.
Yeah.
There you go. And the other thing is, thank you, Patricia, for giving us a review. Those reviews really help us. So we really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's get on. Wallpaper, love it or leave it.
Can I say both?
Explain.
Well, I love wallpaper, but I don't have any in my house right now. So I do love it,
You
but
love it from a distance?
The thing about it is just because of what I do for a living, I'm changing things out all the time. And some of the newer wallpapers are very splashy, very bold, lots of color, and they don't really lend themselves well to you changing things out a lot. There's not a lot that you can't put more pattern in the room with some of the ones I've been seeing lately.
This is why
it's a
that
commitment. Wallpaper is a
repositional
commitment.
wallpaper, though, isn't.
No, it isn't. So that could be great.
True.
Yeah.
But you date repositional wallpaper.
Don't you think a
casually.
bathroom would be beautiful then, Anita?
Well, it would, but just keep in mind too, I'm in Texas and I have an ever so slight texture on the wall that they put on it.
Yes.
It's got to be sanded down. So
That's
it's not
true.
as easy as you think for me to just slap it up there.
Mm-hmm. It's just a different style of wall. How about you, Kelly? Love it or leave it?
I too love wallpaper from a distance at this point, but I'm ready to commit.
Oh, she's
my
ready,
goodness.
baby.
Put a ring on it. Put a ring on it.
Put a ring on
it. just cut the tubing and put a little ring on it.
Oh, she's ready.
Well, I'm just gonna dip in. So I have wallpaper. It's been actually propped up against the wall in the powder room, ready to go.
Ooh.
I know what I'm doing there. I've had some swatches taped up, and I purchased the rolls that I need for that room. And then in the living room, I'm going to do something that I talked about in another podcast. I think it was the one where we talked about 9 different ways to take your walls from blah to fab.
Yes.
One of those. And so I have these long panels that I had made when we lived in our other house, and they're framed. And I had different wallpaper in them then, and they were in our entryway. And it was just a wonderful way to fill up a big space. And even though it had wallpaper and there was a big design, it wasn't really busy, and it just really worked. So now I've selected some
Did
new
you have a
wallpaper.
simple pattern in there or a bold one?
It was pretty bold. It pulled in all the colors of my room, of my house. You know, those autumnal colors that I
Yes, we know about those.
AKA Tuscan.
Yes, your
Was crying
Tuscan
out for.
colors. Yes, yeah.
And so, yeah, there were lots of colors in there, but it wasn't on all of the walls. It's actually, the panels are 27 inches wide, and I know that they are because I'll talk about it later about the dimensions of wallpaper, and I had them made specifically to drop wallpaper into. So now I've found new wallpaper, so I'm going to put those up in the living room, and I am super excited about that. And I am considering wallpaper also in my girls' bathroom. But despite the fan and despite encouraging people to open the window, teenage girls who shower often back to back and like it's super hot, and despite the drought, like it's super long, I'm afraid the wallpaper is going to peel off.
Oh,
so I'm holding off in that room. But so, yes, I do love wallpaper, but I don't want to go too bold. I'm going to use wallpaper that has a lot more negative or white space.
And I think that's the trend that we're seeing with a lot of homes now, that if you do use wallpaper, that seems to be the style. Let's talk about Kelly. I know that you have some really good sort of technical information about wallpaper. Do you want to just fit that in right now?
Yeah, sure. So there's basically 2 types of wallpaper. It's American wallpaper or European wallpaper. So
sort of like inches and centimeters.
Exactly. So you're dealing in inches and the metric system, which was never really adopted or embraced here. Yeah, I don't even know if they teach that anymore. They definitely teach us that in junior high or high school.
No, it's definitely in engineering because it's so much easier. You're not converting from inches to, so it is, if you're doing a lot of calculating, it's much easier to work with. So, yeah.
And so you're dealing with a different measurement system, but you're also dealing with just tradition. And American wallpaper is traditionally 27 inches wide for whatever reason. And those panels that I told you about that I had made specifically to put the wallpaper in. So they are 27 inches wide.
For American wallpaper.
Right. And European wallpaper is traditionally 21 inches. So I don't know. Maybe Anita, the engineer, can tell you what that is in centimeters, but it's 21 inches, converted. So originally, and I know this only because very recently I'm trying to fill these panels and I measured them. I didn't even remember that I had them made specifically for the width of the wallpaper, but apparently I did because they're 27 inches. And I had picked out European wallpaper. And I looked to see what the dimensions were, and I thought, and then I'd have to try to match it up and this and that. So now I found an American version. Now, so you have the other thing about wallpaper that you should keep in mind is that it's traditionally sold in double rolls. Now, that's either American or European. So you're going to get 2 rolls. So when you go to purchase it, particularly online, sometimes you can't change the quantity to 1. It always
But that's good.
2.
If you live in my house, because we do all of our own wallpapering, you need more than you think.
Oh, yes. And, we can get into later on if we have time about repeats and how you measure and all of that. But we may even have to do wallpaper, point two, because I don't know that we'll have time to cover all that today. But yeah, definitely get a little bit more than you think you need. Because
so those double rolls, if you only need one, it's okay to get the double because, if you make a mistake, well, you're going to need the double, the extra roll.
Well,
right.
the
Or
other
you
thing
could
I'm
use
noticing
it for drawer liner.
Yes,
So if you have some left over that's substantial enough to use it, that's another way to use it. Or riffed off my idea and maybe add it into a frame in a gallery wall or on alone on these panels like I'm doing. But I want to buy one roll because I don't need, and it's pretty expensive, and so I don't need two rolls. So you can ask them to quote cut the rolls, and there's usually a cutting charge for them to take the one roll out. So these are just things to think about when you're selecting your wallpaper.
And be careful. You may think you need one roll. You've got to really be aware of that repeat number because that's going to really impact how much you're going to need. And the thing I'm noticing about a lot of the new wallpapers I'm seeing on Pinterest is the repeat is very long. The patterns are very large.
Right.
So when you have that kind of a repeat, you're going to need a lot more wallpaper.
And then
when we're talking about repeat, it's the pattern repeating itself. So the roll, to be created, the
to
wallpaper
match it up.
goes through, right? And the pattern, it goes through the machine, and the pattern is then repeated. And like Anita's saying, say it's a long cascade of florals or something, and it's a super long repeat, that it takes a long time for it to come back again and again. So there's more waste when you have longer repeats rather than if you had little triangles.
And to be honest with you, what I'm seeing are a lot of wallpapers that are really more like murals. I've seen some that don't appear to have any repeat. There are maps, huge florals. I've seen geometrics. Well, I guess that had a more often of a repeat, but marble, a kind of a marbleized look on the wall.
That's so cool.
Very large.
I'm going to weigh in here. They're probably digitally printed, and and Walls Need Love have a lot of those. My daughter, we got a huge mural of the world. It's sort of an antique map for my grandson's wall, and it is amazing. It has no repeats, and it was probably digitally done, and it fills one wall. So he's got an antique map of the world on a whole wall. And where
beautiful.
They used to do like the screen printing, which made that very difficult. Now with the digital age, they can do that, and it's so much easier.
What kind of a width is it that they use? Is it the 27?
Well, I'm not sure of that, but you could buy the panels of it. I think it came in 6 or 7 panels, and you could buy like so many. I think they bought 6 out of the 7 panels for this mural. You fit it to your wall. The other thing is there's a lot of, because of digital printing, a lot of trompe l'oeil, like fool the eye, like brick, like you were saying, wood grain.
Right. There's
anything that mimics like a natural material. Now they can do, and they can do it well. I know several of our blogging friends have used some of this beautiful, realistic looking brick and wood grain. Actually, I've seen that too.
And the beadboard. I've seen the beadboard.
Yes, it looks like planking, and and it looks very realistic. I just actually got some of the brick myself. Now up close, it looks, if you're within inches of it, obviously it looks like wallpaper. But if you stand back just a little bit, it looks fabulous. So
sounds like fun.
Yeah. And, you don't have to do, the nice thing about that kind of wallpaper is that you don't need to do all your walls, because that wouldn't, obviously it wouldn't suit to do all your walls, but you pick that one really great accent wall, and you can have a brick wall or a planked wall or a mural or something that mimics what's out in nature, like birch trees or something like that. That's very realistic.
Well, and I wanted to add to Kelly's idea of using the wallpaper in the frames.
Oh, I love that idea.
I think that's a great idea. If you want to add wallpaper to your house, but you don't want to do a whole wall, you want to just dip your toe in, that's something you can do. But some other things you can do are to just use the wallpaper in the back of a bookcase, for example, or in the back of cabinets. The other thing you could do is put it on the ceiling. And I've seen it look really fabulous, dramatic. I saw a dark ceiling with these huge florals. It was really gorgeous in a bedroom.
I love paying attention to areas that, normally don't get special treatments and making them really pop.
That's really dramatic.
And another place would be the riser on your stairs. You could do some wallpaper there. So there's so many fun places.
Love that.
And I've also seen wallpaper used when you pull out drawers. You could put the wallpaper on the sides.
I was just going to say
drawers.
that, Anita.
Oh, okay.
And that is such a nice look because it's such
really
a
cool.
wonderful surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you can use your leftover wallpaper.
Oh, there's some, right. And like you said, the drawer liners, there's so many places to use that. So there are a lot of fun ways you can add it, even if you don't want to do a whole room.
All right, let's talk about what's hot right now in wallpaper and what is hot to you. What do you like seeing in the wallpaper?
Well, like I said, I've been seeing all these large scale patterns, like the large floral prints. I've seen, like I said, the marble look, but I've also seen dragonflies. I've seen a lot of geometrics, a lot of metallics.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
and
think
they're really
coming back strong.
Right. There's a lot of much more modern looking things that there's not a lot of traditional looking patterns I'm seing. It's all a very fresh look.
Do they even make wallpaper borders anymore?
Oh, I hope not.
I'm glad you said that. Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you have one in your house, it's great.
There you go. That's a good way to cover. But yes, but we did have a couple rooms wallpapered, and we've been here for 22 years. And my husband, I always say if a bomb fell on our house, the only thing that would be standing were the walls that were wallpapered. Because it was, the kind that was pre-pasted, and he then pasted it anyway. So,
double paste.
Oh my goodness. And
you're not getting that puppy off.
Well, we tried we scraped wallpaper off a bathroom in my daughter's bedroom, and we had the borders. That's what made me think of this. We had it wallpapered and then with the border. So obviously that came off, but that was a mess to get off, to the point where we really dinked up our drywall.
Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health: potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60 60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Oh yeah, it's brutal. I mean, anybody who's removed wallpaper, I mean, it's like you went to war with the wall.
Yeah.
Right?
But if it's on really well,
this little round thing, they sold them and it was supposed to be helpful. This was the house we had in Southampton, and the lady had, she had like you didn't notice when you went to look at the house because she had all her stuff. There was a lot of stuff. But to hang one picture up, she put in like 12 nails. She just even if she got in the wrong spot, she just left the nail. And then she had wallpaper.
I've been known to do that. Well, not the nail, but the hole.
Oh my goodness. So we got these little things. It kind of fit in the palm of your hand. Did you try these?
Yeah, they're the scorers.
The roller thing.
Yes. And they score.
Yeah, they're almost like they almost look like the little bells like you would ding to call a shopkeeper or something like that. Yeah, and you kind of roll it around. And I remember my mom and my mother-in-law Edith were in the room with us, and Peter, and
but they leave little prick marks.
Tracks.
Yes, they do.
Dents.
In the wall.
Well, if wallpaper is on really well, I've had wallpaper put on old wallpaper and it did great. If it's on really good, I don't think it's a problem going over.
And I was just going to say this. After we did Jackie's wall in her room, we had to do a lot of patching up, and that was painted. But we have a hallway. Our upstairs it's still a work in progress. And our up one wall, we had papered in a marble, and it looks very dated. So we just like the thought of even going through this again was just too much for us. And I know a lot of people who do wallpapering don't take it off because it's that miserable. So I called a company and they said, just prime it.
Yeah.
And if you prime if you have, when you're talking about putting wallpaper back on, if you prime the wall and let it go for about 3 weeks, then you can paper over it. And the reason you need to prime the wall is because a lot of the modern day wallpaper, there is so much open space in it, and like a white space, that the other wallpaper can come through.
That's a good point.
Good point.
Well, our old house, when we moved in, had a lovely I guess it was before its time. It had these big flowers. Actually, when we bought the house, the power had been turned off because they had given up on selling the house. And so when we walked in, the house was dark, and I think we lit a match or something. And I think I about fell over when I saw these big brown plaid flowers staring at me on the wall.
Oh, brown plaid. That's like your Herculon sofa.
Yes. They would have gone well with the sofa.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Blue and brown plaid, really large flowers.
Fine in its time.
I'm sure it was, I'm sure
here,
height of fashion at one point.
There was this little sort of ante room off the master bedroom, and the gentleman who I had met his son, he was like in his 40s. It was still papered in that vinyl paper it was
scrubbable.
green,
they called it scrubbable
with giraffes and elephants.
Oh no!
It was still the nursery.
Oh, was this the nursery?
Oh,
yeah, the 40-year-old man's nursery.
Yeah, it was
40?
a crib in there. It was like so Rosemary's Baby. It was so creepy. And he had wallpapered everything. The little door to the closet was wallpapered, and the trim was all painted bright yellow.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So you know what we did, because you started to peel the wallpaper off, and because the walls are lath and plaster, the plaster started to come off. So we said, whoa, and we just got thin sheetrock, and we just sheetrocked
the whole thing over. That is a
now
very
it's a tad smaller.
good idea.
It's all in there. All those elephants and giraffes and rhinoceroses are holding.
Some future owner will have fun if they ever go through that wall.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine? Just tell them I didn't do the wallpaper in the bedroom.
Exactly. They'll definitely know they got to the early 70s, because I know in my room, my parents, I grew up in a Cape Cod, and upstairs they did the dormer thing, bump out the dormer and created some rooms in this attic. And I still remember my mom doing that project. Maybe that's where I got hooked on recreating things, but it was a very interesting time for home decor, let's just say.
Yeah. What year was this?
It was probably in the mid 70s.
That was a
And-
special time.
It was a special time. And my mother has very good taste, but she was, very of the time. And
Yeah.
there was no flow. So it was like, do one room this and do another room that. And everything was very bright. And so my room had plaid, that vinily washable
Yes.
wallpaper in greens and pinks, and it was just like a quilt. And I had green shag carpet. Greenery actually is being
Greenery. It's back. It's
Shag
back.
carpet. I wanted shag carpet
and then
back
the
in the day.
hall was
We
red
couldn't-
shag carpet.
My parents wouldn't buy
red
good shag carpet.
wallpaper.
Oh my.
Oh my.
A special decorated time. And I'm wondering if
Special
yeah, if 20 years from now, people are going to say the same thing about what we have in our house.
No,
And
I don't. No,
I
not
bet-
necessarily.
I
no,
bet
the
they
70s were a special time.
They
I
were.
don't-
Yeah, just think about everything then.
Mhm.
It was just, it was
Listen.
just special.
Yes, it was special. Let's say that.
Anyway, I've got another idea for walls. I know that what's really on trend right now is to plank or to have even wainscoting now. You can still do that, or board and batten. And sometimes there's a space above that. And, I know the traditional for wainscoting was to paper above. Well, if you paper in the newer type of wallpapers, especially the geometrics, it really can update that look. In our bathroom that, is taking forever to redo. And I'm very patient about that. Bobby has board and battened the walls in there up to about, maybe like my eye level, and I'm 5'8". And so above that, I'm putting a wallpaper, a geometric in there. Very light, very, very a lot of open space. And that's just an easy way to ease into it and give it a really modern look. And I'm using the repositional so I don't have to commit to it. And we do have wallpaper in there. That was wallpapered a yellow and white stripe. And actually it was really pretty, like a wide stripe, because it's a pretty big bathroom. And I had a black and white check floor. So
I like
well
the
now
black
it's
and
now I have we put hardwood floors in there, and now we have the white board and batten. But we're going to do that trick. We're going to prime it, because just Bob looked at me and said, "Oh, I can't believe I've got to do this wallpaper." I said, "Let's not do it. Let's prime it and put up the other wallpaper over it."
Oh, I think
there
it'll
you
look
go.
great.
But that gives a new look. You're not committed to a whole room.
Right.
But you just have a little bit of it, and you can still have sort of what's fresh and modern as far as, people loving a lot of wood, painted white wood textures on their walls and ceilings today.
Speaking of textures,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about grass cloth?
Love. I love grass cloth.
I love it too.
See,
I've been
I don't like
thinking
it.
about grass cloth for years, and I was going to do it behind the bookcase in the family room in our other house, and I just never ended up getting around to it. But I really wanted to do that.
It just seems like we already had the grass cloth thing.
It's a classic. See,
But
this
you
is-
Took
can't.
the words right out of my mouth.
Mhm.
Yvonne.
It is
Now, okay.
There
well,
are
I know-
some things that
have they
just don't
changed
go
it?
out of
Because
style.
I know before you couldn't get it off your wall. So once you put it up, you were stuck with it.
I don't know.
That's why it's a
but-
classic. You can never get rid of it.
Okay.
They
As long
just
as you know what
decided,
you're
okay,
getting
let's
yourself
call
in
it a
for.
classic.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, if it goes the same way as the new modern wallpaper, then I would think you could. I don't know for sure, but
I
now
don't know
the
if it's changed,
wallpaper
but-
is so much easier to get off.
I
But-
know a lot of people had the grass cloth and the other wallpaper you could get off, but the grass cloth, they said, good luck. It is stuck. And that's when
grass
I heard that,
cloth-
I'm like, there's no way I'm buying that stuff.
Oh, if there was a house that had grass cloth in it that was anything but like that putrid green, I probably
I know,
would have.
right? The green,
I would,
the magnet green. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have probably kept it up because it is, to me, it is luxurious.
Okay.
How about you, Kelly? You said you loved it.
No, I really do love
we
it.
had
And,
two. Yeah.
you
she
know, I
likes it.
think who does a really nice job with the grass cloth, I believe the company is Philip Jeffries, and you'll often see ads for his wallpapers. And I think they are kind of the premier grass cloth crowd there, and they have such beautiful colors. And I just said adding that layer of texture. And again, it's a way to go. and make something look a little bit more designed, a little bit
Yeah.
more magazine worthy, if you will. And it just adds another layer, which can be really beautiful. I like it a lot.
And Kelly, can I interrupt you right here?
Yeah.
I would not do my whole room in it, but I would certainly do like a wall or above a board and batten or something like that. I think that's beautiful.
I could see it in a dining room above some board and batten
Oh,
in a great color. I could also see full wall in a study that maybe has floor to ceiling bookshelves too. So it's broken up somehow.
Yes. Yes.
And if you're not going to have a room that's going to be primarily the grass cloth, I think tucking that in behind bookshelves, on the back wall of bookshelves.
Just like Anita said, absolutely.
Because it's not, it's something there. It gives the sense that there's some depth, there's texture, because you're going to be putting things on the shelves, whether it be books or vignettes or what have you. And so you're not really breaking up a pattern either. It's a solid, but it's got a lot going on.
I get weak in the knees
texture.
over grass cloth. Yep, I absolutely agree. If you had one room in your house that you could wallpaper, what would you wallpaper?
Powder room.
Powder room. Why?
Well,
I think a powder room is just such a fun place to take some risks. You're not in there all the time. Hopefully your guests aren't taking the New York Times in there with them. They're in and out, that sort of thing. And it's usually a little off to itself. So you can take some risks. You can
do something a little different.
Yeah. And everybody's heard that. Oh, make it a little jewel box. Yeah, you can make it, whatever your version of a jewel box is. Just something, I think when they mean, it doesn't mean too precious when they say make it a jewel box. It's make it really special. So when you open the door, it's like, oh, whoa. And this might not be something that could work in a bigger room or that you would feel comfortable having in a bigger room. And you can also kind of go for broke with the wallpaper or whatever else you're doing in there because you don't need much of it.
I think you are so right. I think this is the place to get a little crazy. If you love wallpaper, this is where to put your energies into.
Well, I've seen some beautiful bedrooms done in wallpaper. If I were going to do it, that would be a gorgeous
you do a
room
bedroom.
to do it in. Yeah. And I've seen some things done where just the fabrics work so well with the wallpaper but the thing with doing that then is the wallpaper becomes your main event in the room.
Yes. It becomes the star. That's right.
Does. So you've got to have everything focused on that wallpaper.
And you know what I've been seeing, and I'm just saying like, oh, please say it ain't so, is that the wallpaper matches the curtains that match the bedspread, a la the 80s.
I know. Sometimes you see that in houses.
Have you seen that?
And, sometimes very high-end designers.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
my
yes.
goodness.
Yes.
No, but, I think that's almost like runway fashion.
Okay.
Who's going to do that?
Yeah. Who's going to wear that? Who's going to do that on their walls? Yes.
But it's just a way to really showcase like the over the topness of the fabric. And usually it's not in these demure prints. Usually it's something really splashy.
No, I'm thinking something
florals.
very bold right. I mean, if I were going to do it, I'd probably do something really bold, but you're stuck with a look then. I mean, you're not going to be you could change your bedding and it's not going to change the way your bedroom looks.
You're so right, Anita.
But it would be cool. It would be fun. If someone else were paying to put it up and take it down, I'd go for it.
You do it just to see it. And
right.
But I looked at that and I'm thinking, oh, you're right. I saw it very high end, very designer look, but I'm thinking, oh, I just can't go back there.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a bedroom because I don't really necessarily have a hard time sleeping, but I think if there was too much busyness going on, it might disturb me a little bit. So maybe, not that you want your guests to be disturbed, but they're only sleeping there a couple of nights. But a guest room
might be good for a guest room.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't a powder room, maybe my next would be a guest room.
I think I would do a powder room.
Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh, so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants.
I think it would be fun for a guest, especially like you said, if it's just for a few nights. I mean, it certainly would be very lively and fun and very different.
Yeah.
I would do probably a powder room. And then my second place I would do it, a small tucked away, like mudroom hallway. Not a long one, not a big one. Like I'm thinking as you come into my house, it's really a mud hallway. It's very small, but putting something in there would be fun. But I'd make sure it works with the rest of my room, the rest of my house on that side.
Right. So you've got some flow, but it's a little bit
right.
Of a pop,
Exactly. But yes, powder rooms are definitely places to get all your love of wallpaper out.
Well, and lots of color. I mean, I would probably go with something really big and bold. Yeah, that would be fun.
Becoming so colorful.
I know.
Well, this look, and
did you see those bold those bold pillows, Anita?
I know.
Whoa, she must have
something's
listened
happening to our girl.
Color podcast.
Or maybe a little bit boho. What do you think?
No,
adding
maybe.
the colors. But I had a powder room that we had, and the wallpaper I just loved. It was like a burgundy-ish, tomato red-ish, with this great, bold, stylized, oriental almost looking flowers. It was amazing. And we did take that down and not, I have to say, I'm just a little bit sorry we did, because I loved it so much. But the problem is the flowers and all the stylized limbs and everything, they were yellow. So every time I would go in, it'd be like, oh, Tuscan, here we are, you know.
Yep.
So if they would have been done in like a yellowy gold, but if they would have been done in a different color, I might have kept it up.
It sounds really pretty. So just one very loose guideline that I don't think I mentioned before is with American Wallpaper, about 50 square feet is can cover, a double roll of American Wallpaper can cover about 50 square feet.
Oh, good to know.
Just a
That's
very
really good
loose
to know.
guide
Yes,
that has
yes.
nothing to do with your repeat. So you really have to take that into account. But just so if you get, if you're just thinking about it and you want to get some ideas of what prices might be like, because wallpaper really isn't inexpensive.
It's an investment for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention again, to please go vote for my designs on the Annie Selke Instagram account, ANNIESELKE. And I'll have a link in the show notes because the winning top designs are going to be made into rugs. I really need your votes.
Anita's rugs in the
We
world.
do.
That's
we
right.
do need Anita's rugs. And Kelly, why don't you just give a little shout out to your book?
You guys are so good to me. Yeah. So my book has been out now when you are listening to this for a few days. So hopefully my mom isn't the only one that's enjoying it. You can pop
Your
over.
book is absolutely gorgeous. Tell us the
Yes.
name.
Thank you so
It's
much.
beautiful.
It's called My Soulful Home, A Year in Flowers, and it takes you through 12 tutorials associated with the months of the year that you can make along with me or use as springboards to your own designs. And I go into depth about taking care of flowers and making them last a long time. And I weave in a lot of stories that I hope you might enjoy as we
how
go
sweet.
along.
Sweet.
So you can pop over to my blog or Anita's or Yvonne's because they were kind enough to do some promotion for me, or Amazon, and purchase the book if you'd like, or at least take a look at it. So thank you very much for that opportunity to talk about that again. And thank you all for listening today. We so appreciate your emails, Patricia, and your phone calls and your reviews. And it's so much more delightful to know that when we're talking to each other, that we're really talking with you too. So until next time, we want to remind you that we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey there, if you're loving our podcast like we're loving our podcast, we would love you to rate and review us. Head to iTunes to do that. It's easy and it would mean so much to us. And if you do rate and review us, we're going to enter you to win a fantastic giveaway. The details for the giveaway are in the show notes for this episode, and you can find the show notes at decoratingtipsandtricks.com.